Well, Peter, thank you so much. It is a thrill and an honour to be here this evening, and if I may begin by taking up one of the points that you made. The most successful countries on this planet are the immigrant countries, the countries that welcome migrants, not the ones that simply endure them. A very important point you made, Peter, and I thank you for those remarks, and I thank you for the work you've done as Chair of the Migration Council. It is a real thrill to be here, as I said, at these annual Migration and Settlement Awards. There are many of my parliamentary colleagues here tonight. I want to particularly acknowledge Senator Michaelia Cash, the Assistant Minister for Immigration, Senator Connie Fierravanti-Wells, the Parliamentary Secretary for Multiculturalism, but I welcome all my parliamentary colleagues here tonight. Your presence at this dinner is a sign of the faith that all of us have in all Australians, in the rich diversity of modern Australia. Modern Australia has an Aboriginal heritage, a British foundation, and a multicultural character. These are the three indisputable pillars of modern Australia. Tonight is a celebration of that multicultural element in almost every Australian life. Nearly all of us, however remotely, are migrants or the descendants of migrants, and our modern history is largely the story of people from all corners of the globe coming here in search of a better life for themselves and their children, having a go and making the most of the opportunities this country has afforded them. For most of us, our Australian story began overseas. Banjo Patterson's father was Scottish. Carolyn Chisholm was a migrant who helped other migrants settle. Don Bradman's grandfather was a rival from England in 1855 in search of gold. General Sir John Monash's parents were Jewish migrants from Poland. And in this parliament, names like Chobo, Gambaro, Goodenough, Fierravanti-Wells, Abbott, Frydenberg, Sinodinos, to name just a few, suggest the diverse heritage of the leaders of our country. My own parents travelled to Australia on the 7th of September 1960 as 10-pound Poms, and in a neat coincidence, I was elected Prime Minister exactly 53 years later. So my parents, like so many of yours, made their journey to Australia for a better life. At some point, immigration is part of nearly every Australian's family history. Last Saturday marked 70 years since the end of the Second World War. And back in 1945, we had a population of just 7.25 million. Since then, we've welcomed 7.5 million migrants to our shores. And today, 45% of us were either born overseas or have at least one parent who was born overseas. There's scarcely a language anywhere in the world that isn't spoken somewhere in Australia. Men and women from all 5 continents, and I suspect just about every single country on earth, have voted with their feet to join us. And there's almost no field of endeavour in this country of ours that hasn't been changed, enriched and improved by the contribution of migrants. Our longest-serving Prime Minister, Sir Robert Menzies, might have regarded himself as being British to the bootstraps, but he also said of our social evolution, what we need in Australia, and I'm quoting Menzies, is that every person who comes into the Australian community should retain his quality, but should add to it the qualities of all the other people in the community, so that finally we get a community of high ideals and of clear faith and of generosity and of understanding. Multicultural Australia has turned out to mean people becoming Australian in their own way and at their own pace, but without ever being expected to abandon their heritage or their identity. After all, governments can't ask people in the anthropologist Stanner's memorable phrase, to unbe. We just can't ask them to unbe. Now, naturally, we do have some rules, and the non-negotiable rule of our country is that we are an easygoing and a free people who welcome all who are willing to join our team and give the same fair go to everyone else that they expect for themselves. That's the sentiment that's reflected in our citizenship pledge. We pledge our commitment to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs we share, whose rights and liberties we respect, whose laws we will uphold and obey. And we should never forget that millions have come to this country, have taken that oath or affirmation, and they have meant it. Our success as a nation is underpinned by this commitment, and we do need to ensure that it's well understood now more than ever. Citizenship is a privilege that carries both rights and responsibilities, so the commitments in the Citizenship Pledge must be real rather than simply rhetorical. I believe in citizenship. I believe in the capacity of migration to build a bigger, stronger and more vital Australia. And I want to reaffirm tonight that no one should feel anything other than encouraged by this government's determination to ensure that people take the Citizenship Pledge seriously. As Malcolm Fraser once said, insisting upon a core area of common values is no threat to multiculturalism, but is its guarantee, for it provides the minimal conditions upon which the well-being of all is secured. We are a great country, and we have built a nation which is in so many respects the envy of the earth. This, in large measure, is due to the contributions of migrants from across the world who have come here, rolled up their sleeves and had a go. And that's what tonight's awards recognise. They recognise those people and those organisations that have gone the extra yard to help new migrants to build a life here. These awards acknowledge the hard work and the dedication of those who are helping the newest members of our team to become the fullest of participants. Like the millions who have pledged their allegiance to Australia in the past, our newest residents will play their part in making us a better country in the months and years to come. They always have and they always will. I love everything about Australia, or almost everything about Australia, and one of the things that migration has given to us is a heroic dimension. It is a grand thing to be a place where people can come from the four corners of the earth and flourish beyond their wildest imaginings. That is the gift that Australia has given the world. This is the gift that you are spreading to more and more Australians. Thank you so much.